Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and we are live again with OK Student. I'm back with Martin, and Martin, this is our 10th live broadcast.
Yes,
celebration time.
nice and round number now. And when I was just making the kind of broadcast, it was the first time when I had to enter double digits. So we grow. I can't believe we've done it 10 weeks in a row now. That's consistency.
That's consistency. So I guess we should say welcome to new people who are watching this either live or afterwards. And thanks for the people who keep following us. Please follow us on all our social channels. We're OK Student. We give great advice to students seeking to apply in the UK to British universities. But we also look at the whole student experience, and we manage to kind of connect existing students to prospective students. So it's real advice from people who are going through these things.
And I think we have an amazing mix of professionals in the industry and students who we are empowering, meaning that the advice is as real as it can possibly get. And therefore, our Friday Q&As that were Q&As have turned more into kind of just discussion boards for us, where we can just give our opinion or ideas or anything on the most relevant topic that have happened recently.
Yeah, I think you politely just pointed out that I'm not a student. But you
are not a student anymore.
I'm an industry expert. That's I think what you just called me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a great chance for us to talk about how we see things progressing, the different opportunities that exist for students. But also we love to hear other people's views, suggestions. So please, if you are tuning in, please send us any comments or questions, and we're really, really happy to answer them. We can do that live, or we can do it through our web form and either talk about it in a live later on or get back to you in the future, book an appointment to talk about any specifics you have on your mind.
Definitely. So the topic today, I know will be kind of, so what could the 2020 university experience look like? Obviously related to the current major situation around the world. And yeah, I think let's just try to come up with possible solutions that we think that may happen in September and October. And how can students again settle into the university life? What can universities do to make it as smooth, as good, and as cool than it was before?
Yeah, I'm just going to get my crystal ball over here. I mean, this is a really hard one to talk about because we don't know specifically that there's so many things in the whole of society. We don't know what it's going to look like after COVID and how things progress and settle down. But we do know a few things at the moment from the university sector in the UK. So firstly, that all of the universities are being quite clear that they intend to open campuses in autumn, as long as there's no setbacks or further outbreaks. And they're taking as kind of many provisions as they can to manage student safety, but to enhance the student experience to cope with this situation. They've talked about a blended learning, so some of the bigger lectures not being in a big theatre with lots of people, containing that risk by having them hosted online just like this, so that you can tune into some of the bigger lectures, but still have face-to-face teaching and labs and workshops related to your study. So this is what they're planning for. We're kind of guessing a bit here, but we're going to start thinking about what the rest of the experience could look like, or maybe help some of those universities with a few ideas about what students might benefit from.
Yeah, because what we've discussed before, I think on this Q&A series as well is that like the actual student experience, it's not only lectures, seminars, and the like things that happen in the university building. It is a kind of mixture of many different social areas, like hanging out with friends, a freshers week, just living abroad, and like for many, for the first time ever, like living alone. So I think when talking about student experience, it's like really important to pay attention to that there is so many different aspects rather than just learning.
Absolutely. You know, the university forever, that has been a kind of rite of passage about young people leaving home to go and, you know, pursue further education, to pursue knowledge, but also to pursue independence. You know, that's a huge part of it. And particularly if you're interested in studying abroad, really opening your mind to so many new experiences and possibilities. And so, yeah, it's a huge consideration for everybody about what that will look like in the future. And the universities will be working very hard to, yeah, as I say, not only kind of continue that experience, but kind of enhance it in a new world way.
Definitely. Everyone who has or have just joined us, we're discussing how the 2020 university experience could look like in September and actually the whole year. So feel free to leave your comments, ideas below. What you reckon the experience will be like? What hurdles or actually maybe positive outcomes it might have for the student experience? So leave them down below into the comments, and we definitely will pick them up when some of them come in.
Yeah, as I say, you can do it live or you can do it after, and we can pick them up.
Definitely.
So this week in the press, there's been some comments from university representatives about replicating what they're calling kind of study bubbles or social bubbles that they're replicating from the school experience, so trying to reopen schools in this way, replicating that through to the university experience. Okay. And this is the idea that you can contain a number of people who actually study together and then actually live together as well, is the principle for universities. And then obviously that contains the spread in terms of contact with other people, and you know, you essentially start to isolate in a bubble in that sense.
Clearly it isn't physical bubbles, is it? Or will university actually build different sections? Like, we don't know, and you don't probably know, but what do you think? What would they actually like have, like walls in the buildings, like separating different areas of the university?
This is a really new concept, even for schools which have only just reopened in the UK. And so we've got to see how it plays out. But for me, there are lots of obvious things where it's very difficult to maintain this idea that the same people will just stay in social contact with each other throughout the day, and then, you know, in their own social life. Yeah. It doesn't seem plausible to me. Also, we know that probably only a fifth of the student body probably stays in university-owned accommodation, where they could regulate it in terms of you're living with people you study with, in literally your course group. Some universities have a better control on this because they allocate accommodation, whereas other universities, it's first come, first serve, and you can, you know, live anywhere that you choose. Yeah. You know, increasingly, more students choose the private sector, particularly in their later years, because of how they want to live their lives. They don't necessarily want to be in the halls of residence. So that then becomes very difficult. How do you regulate where somebody can have the option to live, but maintain a study bubble?
Yeah, that's. I think it was the news came out quite recently, right? Like earlier this week or midweek, and I think it hasn't been actually discussed really further from the initial news, has it?
No, it hasn't been. But this has been the first kind of idea of what it might look like. Now, I've got to say, and a few comments I've had on things like LinkedIn, is that, yeah, we should give students a lot of credit here. They understand the risk and they're taking their personal safety very seriously, and they will work in partnership with the universities. I don't think it's going to be like someone setting the rules and then other people looking for loopholes. It's definitely a collaborative approach between the student body and the universities to see what works for them, to make sure everybody's safe, but also to make sure everybody's happy and enjoying the experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many ideas and discussions, and like I would just want to point out that like why I reckon it is so difficult problem to solve is just merely the fact that universities have like 20, 30, maybe even more thousand students, and usually as the numbers like grow, the more difficult it will be to like organize everything and maintain everything.
Yeah,
it would be easy with like a couple of thousand students probably, but I think it's just numbers game.
I think it's a numbers game, and so I think timetabling solutions, the timetablers are suddenly going to become the heroes here, because they've got a really hard task, but I think an important part to play of regulating the flow through campus of when kind of different people are on campus, and keeping those patterns quite distinctive so that the same people are on there. So maybe the bubble isn't, a group of people living and studying together. Maybe it's a bit bigger than that. It's different class cohorts having more of a regular pattern. But I think generally the kind of health and safety style, things around, sanitization and cleaning, airflow, all of those facility things will be very important, just to kind of just keep the environment very clean. And luckily, the investment in UK university campuses are, some of the best in the world, very modern facilities, and I think that can be achieved really, really well. I think that the kind of sanitization side of these spaces, even though they are busy, will be done, and will be done very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, thank you everyone joining us on Facebook and on YouTube. Our weekly 10th now Q&A session with Martin and Nick. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas how universities could solve the kind of experience side, feel free to leave them in the comments and we will pick them up.
So I was talking about sanitization. Let's go on to some of the fun things.
I think so, yeah.
I think the Students' Union. So the Students' Union in the UK is the kind of the body that looks after the needs and rights of students. And they've got a really, really big part to play in this, in terms of looking at the social life of the student and the safety of the student and the student's own voice and perspectives on this. And I'm really excited to see what they do. They are genuinely a bit like OK Student. They are run by talented students and recent graduates who represent the student voice and the student body. So they're going to have a really crucial part to play in this. So tell me, Martin, some of the ideas that we could maybe introduce or help them introduce into social life in a bit more of a socially distanced world.
Well, I mean, the first thing we obviously all can expect is that like British university experience starts with Welcome Week at the end of the September or early October. So I would look into it, like how would the Welcome Week look in those new conditions? Because for obvious reasons, I think nightclubs cannot possibly open because of the obvious reasons. So yeah, I mean, I've been thinking like what could universities or student unions do to like kind of replace that nightclub experience? Because like maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but like it is a big part of the welcome week for many students. So I was thinking that there is actually a possible way to like create how do you call them, like not festivals, but like a smaller small groups of people can kind of gather outside and have like a designated area with like, I don't know, like we can invite small breweries and like make like little festivals, which is like in the open air, and the what's the word, contamination is not that likely. So yeah, you can just have like a little rooftop parties.
This is a great idea. I think the UK has lovely outdoor spaces. Yes, the weather can be a little bit temperamental, but we can kind of put mitigation. But yeah, can you take the larger social events outside? I think it makes perfect sense to say we could host it in the parks or in the closed off streets or something like that, where we can regulate numbers, but you can still have that great gathering feel. Yeah, brilliant idea.
Because I think that whether it is in the open air or somewhere underground in the closed building, it really does make the massive difference. And like, yeah, it would be probably one of the safest options for students.
Yeah, and keeping that gathering kind of feel that you get at the start of term.
Definitely.
I think this is an amazing time for brands to actually start engaging with the university sector who may have never kind of engaged with them before. So as you're saying, kind of like outdoor social brands like that, or events management, amazing. I think we could do that.
Definitely. Like, I mean, smaller brands, like, it's, as you said, it is the time to get creative and like just offer, I think, universities their ideas, because I would argue that universities are really busy with the whole situation on like every front, like student experience, Freshers Week. So if actually someone would come up with like a nice solution that, hey, we are like, I don't know, a random city, Sheffield-based university, small business, we want to help your university. We will come up with a whole concept for the I don't know, like garden party, whatever we call it, and great business opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, so we've got outdoor spaces. I think the online space is fascinating. I mean, I think kind of shout out to any subscription service, any entertainment subscription, Netflix, whatever. I think to engage with students and offer them kind of subscription discounts, you know, better than ever before, I think would be really good. A great idea. But I think this opens out into even more areas. Like, what about kind of social apps or dating apps, dare I say, this kind of thing where you're connecting people, so that if you can't go to a nightclub and meet new friends, or, you know, a big event, maybe you can find them through some sort of app-based system and meet in smaller groups. You know, this is entirely possible. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm to stay positive, but I'm a bit concerned how these things play out in real life, because on a personal level, I'm really interested in like human behavior and like why people do what and when and why, and like I'm a little bit concerned how this would like really play out because of because I think just like students, I think people may not be ready to kind of adapt these things, because everyone's been used to doing it the same way forever.
Yeah.
But for sure, if there would be any like really good apps or ideas, I mean, that definitely would help someone.
I can see it. I'm telling you, I can see it as just as a mode of connecting with people. I'm not saying replacing face-to-face contact, but I just mean a way of kind of allowing people to meet others if some of these opportunities don't exist in the way they have before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can even get like deeper into the like it's more like data discussion, but like in theory you could track people you could track like who engages with who, and if the data game is played right, then you could possibly even like prevent COVID like outbreaks.
Well, exactly. This all falls into the kind of test, but track and tracing.
Like, how much can you track people like that? It's a little bit dangerous ground.
Yeah, but clearly it's an essential for operations on a community like a university campus.
Yeah, definitely.
But we should say at this point that, you know, there's still so much time to go. In the UK, the hospitality sector is due to open in, say, a month's time here, and that, you know, bars and restaurants will be open and operating. I think probably the only area that we have any big question marks over are mass gatherings. So, you know, large groups at sporting events or nightclubs and things like that. But also, all of these industries are already innovating to see how they can reimagine that space so it can happen. So, yeah, they do. And, you know, even like music venues and things like that, obviously, many of them have taken to online platforms to keep that community going so we can share it. But, you know, with the aim that they will bring it back when it's safe to do so. And things are moving so fast that this disruption could happen really only for the first part of the university experience, and then it change, or it could define it, you know, for the future foreseeable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what was the title of our very, very first podcast or weekcast or broadcast 10 weeks ago, is like necessity is the
mother of invention.
Mother of invention, yeah. So I'm really, you can't say happy, but like the whole situation has pushed probably every industry like 5 to 10 years ahead in the digital game.
Yeah, and the universities are the kind of research and development department of society. If anybody can innovate and come up with new ways of doing things, the universities can. And that's what I'm super excited to see what they come up with, because I think it can be an absolute game changer here. Some of the things that didn't work necessarily so well or so efficiently in the past, we can make even better for the future. So, as I say, I think it's actually a really exciting time of change, but positive change here.
Of course, in case they use the opportunity.
Yeah. So to kind of bring it back then, how are we going to summarize this?
I would say that there is plenty of different scenarios how it could play out, and yeah, I think you cannot really predict anything these days. It's more about seeing like a week or 2 weeks ahead and just adapting by the situation. But luckily, like cities, universities, they have the whole summer before students are starting to come in. So I think there is actually plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah, and I think I would say the things that are probably, you know, not going to come back quickly are, we know kind of lectures, and we know maybe kind of mass gatherings in terms of nightclubs and things like that. But the rest of the experience shouldn't be too affected. It just will be more regulated, I think. There might be more conditions around it, or there might be more kind of timetabling procedures to kind of manage that flow of people around campus and around, you know, different facilities. Yeah. And no doubt there will be lots and lots of great innovations to move things online. So the kind of engagement with the university community on an online platform whilst being there is just going to go through the roof. I think you said already, kind of like the gyms and sports and lifestyle things, a lot of those things that have been closed at the moment have been engaging with you on online platforms. That's right?
Yeah, definitely. I think they do like daily workouts online. You can follow them on like probably every platform. Like they just send you workouts. They have been in touch. So yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, while we don't know how gyms will open specifically in the future, they will open. But I think the online thing will never go away now. So you're going to end up with an added value of an online experience alongside a physical experience, if that makes sense, or a tangible experience like this. So I think that's what's quite exciting, is that you're going to get this online enhancement to all of the teaching and learning and all the experiences, the way we connect and communicate. And I think that's going to suit, modern generations.
Definitely. And like going back once again to the like a start of the university year in September and October, like I think a good thing is that the kind of outbreak hit us in a pretty good time, like when you're thinking about the cycle, because by September, October, like we've already had like almost half a year of that situation, meaning that people actually are getting kind of used to it. So it doesn't come as a surprise that like different welcome week, like it is different this year. So people get used to it, and like kind of psychologically as well. Like what I've seen, we all seen is like first 2 months, everyone were like super safe at home, and then like it started getting a bit weird. Like people got really bored. When we had first sunny weathers, like there was actually more and more people outside. So I mean, obviously everyone just wanted to go outside and like feel like normal again. But as soon as those kind of humps and dips and stuff are over, I think it will balance out and will go to like more, I don't want to say new normal here, but like
new normal.
But new normal, yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's so much about a society reopening and renormalizing itself to, and that will then just apply. The best of that will start applying to the university experience. And you're exactly right. University students won't be, it won't be such a shock because they're already going through this in other parts of their life. And universities have the resource and everything to adapt to the best of that. And they always have the student experience at heart here. They're always trying to ensure that students are happy and healthy, but that they can achieve the kind of their best results. And I think more than ever, they will come first in this experience as it grows.
Oh, of course. Perfect time to.
So, go on.
I mean, I was about to say that perfect time to wrap up, I think, on a really positive note.
I think I'm going to leave with my final prediction of what university might look like. I think there is a huge space here for, other kind of commercial industries to start engaging with the student experience, whether that's learning platforms, but whether that's social platforms as well. I think we're going to see some big players come in with some amazing solutions for students and the student communities. And as I say, we'll watch this space, but I'm quite excited about that.
And by big players, you mean like very big brands? Like
I do actually.
And
I think some of those big, huge companies, obviously they're leveraging a lot of power in different sectors, but we've not seen them enter into an educational sector yet. But I think because of this move to a blended online approach and because of the situation we find ourselves in, then I think those big tech companies in particular will start to offer some solutions around community-based products that connect people in the educational sector.
Nice. And if they'll do, we can cut this clip and play it back to people.
Exactly.
That's why being on the record is the best, if it works out.
If it works out. But these are just our musings, our ideas. As we said at the start of this, please send in any questions you have, any ideas that you have, or any concerns. Lots and lots of students and parents and families are all searching for answers about, about the different areas of the student experience, from accommodation to teaching, all of these things. So please get in touch. And many universities are acknowledging the fact that, there will be January starts and deferrals and things like that. So you always have options, and we can monitor the situation as it goes.
We always have options.
Always have options.
Cool. Everyone watching, please do follow us on our channels. We are bringing you the best, the most current and recent higher education and any other topic news. We're trying to educate people, help and bring as much value as we possibly can. So I would say we have really useful channels. Me and Nick, weekly on Friday we're doing our live. We don't know yet what the next week's one gonna be like, but maybe something fun like top 3 challenge again.
Of course, always fun, lots of fun. So please message us. Have a great weekend, everybody. And if you have a topic that you want us to cover, then let us know, and we were happy to bring it to the live platform.
Awesome. Bye for now.
Bye for now.